doing this for us.
Yes. So this one's a little different because I think instead of me talking the whole time, I wanted to get everybody's ideas and like learn from each other. So I hope that's okay. I'm going to start with a few things, but if you guys have if you've also done these things that I'm talking about, like chime in on like what you did, and so everybody can kind of learn from each other. That's the whole point of this. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to unmute yourself and talk at any time, because I just love for this to be collaborative. The first thing, so we're going to talk about like things that we've done in 2019, things that I've seen other agents do and have success with, and so we can learn from that and carry it on into 2020, which is crazy. But the first thing is sending CMAs to past clients. Has anybody done that?
No, I haven't.
I haven't done that, but that's on my list.
Yes. So, and I mean, you pick the time range. So like, it could be, for the past, like, if they've lived in the home the past 2 years, 3 years, whatever you think is best. But just pulling your past clients and pulling the CMAs for them and adding a little note to the CMA, maybe about how, smart of an investment they made, or congratulating them for that. And then including your business card, just a very simple thing to mail out to them. And then I would go a step further than that and call them later to see if they had any questions.
Okay.
There's an agent in our office, Carol, you probably know him, and he's done this a few times last year and picked up a few deals right away. So
awesome.
On my list to do as well.
Robin, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. No, I'm not in Florida.
Yeah, you said North Carolina or South Carolina?
No, I am in back home now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Somebody else is in North Carolina or South Carolina.
Lee, I'm in South Carolina.
Okay, I thought I heard that. All right, social media campaigns. So we talked so much about social media, and the thing that comes up more and more in my one-on-ones with agents is to make it your own. So you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Like, tailor it to what you like to talk about, what you like to do. If you don't like to do video, start with, pictures or a blog style post or whatever it is. This past year, I committed to doing 365 real estate tips, and that was challenging for sure. But it made me focus every day on like thinking of something to share that's of value. And it really, more than I realized, put me on the map with my previous like buyers and sellers, because I heard a lot of people saying how much they appreciate them over time. And it took almost 6 months for people to realize, like, I'm not stopping. I'm committed to that. And so having a campaign that you can commit to, it has to be something you like to do and something that you're comfortable with, and just staying consistent with it. It'll help more than you realize. And I don't think that the social media campaign will generate like cold leads for you, like people that you don't know. It'll be more people that you've known from your past that become warm leads to you. So they see what you're doing, they see your commitment and your excitement for your industry and your job, and they reach out to you from your social media, not necessarily people that you don't know. But it's a way to engage your past database in a more authentic way. Anybody else done a campaign for social media?
I haven't. I see people that have that set up on theirs. How do you go about doing that? Because I see sometimes where they have like a website and it's like articles like every day that they're putting out. I have an issue sometimes with technology. I need to get much better at it.
Yeah. Well, feel free to let me know. We could do a one-on-one where we can kind of go through it. But really, you don't have, I would suggest planning it out. Like, take an hour and think about what you would want to share on social media so you have a good idea. So you're not constantly thinking, I'm like looking over here. So you're not constantly thinking of what to post. If you want to, there are websites that will help manage it for you called like Hootsuite later.com. You can go on there and plan out your posts and schedule them so that you don't have to post every day. It posts for you. But you create the content or whatever message you want. You put it in there and tell it when to post, and it'll do it for you. It'll do it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any of those. LinkedIn. So that
I know I need to get
like make it consistent.
Okay. I know I need to get better with Instagram. I rarely post on Instagram because I'm just not as familiar with it.
And that's okay. I think maybe playing around with it a little bit and just getting familiar with it. But if you're on Facebook, I think that's a great start.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much of our demographics still on Facebook. So yeah, I think just sitting down for an hour and like thinking through what you'd want to talk about or what you'd want to do or feel comfortable with. Say you're comfortable with doing like one post a week. Cool. Like just make sure like you plan out those 52 posts for the year and stick to that. And you'd be shocked at how many people think, oh my gosh, like you're so busy or you're so committed, and they'll say stuff to you. Like it takes a little while, but you have to be consistent with it, but it definitely reaps some rewards there.
Okay.
Expired listings and for sale by owners. So right now is a huge time for that. So many expired listings right now. Is anybody calling expired?
No.
Nobody? In my experience, and we have quite a few agents in our office that are calling expired listings. In my experience, expireds are a little easier than for sale by owners. I could be wrong, but it just depends on like what demographic you like to work with. Expired listings, in my experience, if you're targeting the right ones, they're tired of having their home for sale. They're tired of showing the home. Most likely they're tired of their agent and they're ready to just get it done. So if you can come in there and say, you know, hey, I'm going to do professional photography for you. We're going to list it at the right price. And we're going to generate, you know, showings through open houses or whatever you do, and give them that plan up front because no other agent is doing that. You'd be shocked at how many listings you can pick up through expired listings. Some companies that offer the information, I use Espresso Agent. Right now they're running a deal. I think it's 40% off. Vulcan 7 is a popular one, and RedX is a popular one. And they basically send you every morning a list of expired listings that meet the criteria of where you want to list. So like I have mine in a 15-mile radius at such and such price, and then I actually filter through each expired, and I only pick the ones where I would want to list at home. So there's a lot of people who will like mass dial. I'm not comfortable with that. I want to know what I could do for that expired listing and call them with a plan. And where I've been able to be successful on this one, on expireds, is following up with a text message. Because a lot of times, if you've been calling expireds, you know, they don't really answer the phone that often. They're being inundated with calls. Text them with what you said on your voicemail. And you'd be shocked at how many people text you back, and you can start a conversation that way.
You said Espresso Agent, RedX, and who else?
RedX, Espresso Agent, and Vulcan 7. And I believe they all use just about the same data. I want to say the contact information is typically between 73 to 80% accurate. So it's not bad. All right. Next one. Emailing your database and Sphere. So I was in coaching for a little while at the beginning of my career, and this was suggested to me. I had really good experience with this, and I've heard some others as well. We have a preferred lender who just did this and had some success as well. Email your database and Sphere, and the subject line should be, can you do me a favor? Or something like that, because people love doing favors for people they like. So your database and Sphere, and the email heading, can you do me a favor? And in the email, ask them if they know of anybody who would want to, or who is buying and selling and needs a realtor. And can you please tell me the best way to get in contact with them? However you'd want to word that. You'd be shocked at how many people will send you back with their friends and family who are thinking about buying and selling, because they love doing favors. The other way to do that is a referral contest. If you want to put some money behind it, maybe you do a quarterly contest and the subject line is the same, like, can you do me a favor, or enter to win type of thing. And then for every referral someone gives you, they're entered to win a $250 gift card or whatever it is. I know in Indiana, you can't tie that to a closing. It has to be just an enter to win basis. So know your state's law on that, whatever contest rules you have to follow. But those have been successful as well. There's a lot of like title companies, lenders, realtors who've done that and had success with it. And then that's something you could post on social media too. A way to generate some engagement there. Any questions on that? What's everybody else doing? Leah, what have you been doing in 2019 that you're going to continue in 2020?
I'm new. I'm in
You're
here
new?
with ideas. Yep.
That's awesome.
Didn't do a whole
How long
lot.
have you been a realtor?
A year and a half at this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Okay, that doesn't sound very new, but it still feels new.
No, there's a lot to learn for sure. Carol, what about you?
Well, this last year I did some farming, and a lot of my contacts are with my lenders as well, and I had a lot of referrals. Most every client I had this last year was a referral.
Awesome.
So, and I didn't do as much business as I wanted to because I had my mom pass away. But this year, my word of the year is hustle.
Love
So
it.
I am digging my feet in, and that's why I'm on this webinar, and to try to hear everything I can to help.
Yeah. Talk to us about farming. What do you do for the farming aspect?
But she never will still on it.
Where's all that noise coming from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's stop.
I worked with a lender because sometimes the lenders, they do all the printing and all you have to pay for is the postage.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked certain neighborhoods that I farmed, and I wasn't consistent with it. I admit that because I had so much other stuff going on. But that's one thing that we're going to start doing this year, more of, and just consistently pick a neighborhood and just continually farming that neighborhood.
How are you farming it? With postage, you said, or postcards?
Or? Yeah, they actually have campaign material that they can use and co-brand.
Awesome.
And they do all the printing. All I have to do is pay for the postage.
Perfect.
So it's a lot less expensive on me.
Yeah. Did you see any sales out of that?
Yes, I saw a couple of them.
That's awesome. Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Tia, what about you?
Sorry, I'm guessing the noise is coming from me because I'm out with my kids.
Oh,
so.
you're totally fine.
So I'm trying
Anything you want to share that you did in 2019?
You know, I just did sometimes a few little mailings out to clients. Like Carol, I'm sorry about your mom. I lost my mother too. And I take care of my grandfather. So that, unfortunately, for me, this last year took up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to get back into this and kind of buckle down and be more consistent on how I do everything.
All right.
So,
Sorry to hear that. All right. Jonathan, what about you? You're muted. Here, I'll unmute you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
Perfect. Sorry, I just got here to sit down with Heather. Well, honestly, social media stuff, I don't do a whole lot other than, post open houses and whatnot. What I have done in the past, though, and you kind of hit on it, was the gift card idea to people.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done in the past, I didn't do this last year too much because most of last year for me was almost all referrals. I just didn't really need to, but one thing I used to do, and I had success with it, was post an open house, post an event, post something I want out there, And what I did was I said, okay, all of my friends, all of my followers who repost this, whoever can get the most reposts from their page, the most engagement from their friends, I'm going to put you all, for every repost you get, I'm going to, give you one checkbox, if you will. And at the end of the month, I'm going to put in all those checkboxes, names into a hat, however many entries you get, and I'm going to pull it out, and you're going to win a prize of some sort. So I used my own people to make them incentivized to keep saying on their pages, hey guys, share this house, share this realtor's post, share this or that. So I got them to do it. And it created a really big kind of web.
Yeah.
And that was very successful. Now, was I always able to guarantee who got the most number of posts? Probably not. I always pulled a name out each month and said, hey, you won, congratulations. So that was nice. Again, and it got them to be engaged in, at times, asking me for more content. Hey, I want more, entries, post some more stuff. So I just kind of did that. But also what I did was I asked people, find out, what do you guys want to see on social media? And a lot of times they'll tell me, what, I want to see some houses in this part of town, so I'll just go do some tours and video them.
Yeah.
But just ask them what they want, because at least that way it's trackable that you're getting back what you want and what you need, as opposed to you're just shooting with a shotgun style and hoping you're giving the audience, what they're asking for.
Right. I love that you added a competitive aspect to the prize.
Oh, I like that too.
Who gets the most engagement,
Exactly. And frankly, it made them do more work than me. So it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like making people fight for crumbs.
I love it. Corey, I know you're new, but you've been killing it. What about you? Anything you want to start doing in 2020? What about anybody else? Is there anyone else that wants to share what they've been doing? We have a lot of people on here. I'd love to hear what you've been doing in 2019. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything to share, I will put all of these notes together and send it out for everybody. And then we have this. Hey, Mona, I see you now. We have this video recorded, so I'll post it as well, so you can have it to go back and take notes and put your own engagement to your own notes on it. Let's see. We have a few chats. Does Highgarden provide content for us to use for social media? Oh, it says I'm hard to hear. Sorry about that. Highgarden, we provide social media posts for all holidays essentially, and then I posted about 10 different posts as far as like real estate tips for you to post. I branded it to either Highgarden or Easy Street Realty. If there's something you want to see, I'm happy to help, and just send me your ideas and we can collaborate and put something together for everybody. So if there's something that you want to see, just let me know. And then Corey said that her microphone stopped working, so we'll look forward to hearing from you, Corey, next time. If anybody else wants to share anything, I'd love to hear from you. All right. If you have any questions, please, let me know. You can either email me or on my signature, I have a link where you can set up a one-on-one FaceTime with me or just a phone call, and we can go through what your plans are and how we can execute on those in the most effective way. So just let me know.
I had something on mailing databases.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I'm Bobby Peerless. I'm in Denver.
Yeah.
So in Denver, we have something that's called like the 8 and 8 or the 12 and 12. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
I have not.
But they've, and again, the realtor associations, the different marketing, entities have said that, with mailing, sometimes it's, you have their attention from the time they get their mail to the time they throw it in the trash, which is about 4 seconds. And you really need like 30 seconds to make an impact with them. And so out here, one of the things that I found has been very successful, and every time I do this, I am successful with it. So of course I don't follow through and keep up on it. But if you send out like little postcards, like I have this little postcard, it was when with my old real estate brokerage company. I need to get some new ones for High Garden. They're small, they're color on one side, they're black and white on the other side. I get mine from Vistaprint because I have a couple of different accounts with printers, and Vistaprint's the most economical. But they say if you send it out once a week for 8 weeks, by the time they're looking at it at the mailbox, by the time they throw it away, you've got 30 seconds of their attention span, and you have a chance of retaining them. And it's suggested that you don't change it, that you keep just the same postcard and you send it to them every week, so that you have this branding kind of going on. And I know it sounds odd, and I have a problem with paper waste sometimes, which is I think one of the excuses I have for not doing this. But whenever I've done this, I've been successful, and that's a big thing in spring, kind of in the Denver area, where we start our 8 and 8, our 12 and 12, is where you send something out, the same thing, which is fine. So usually it's not specific for a holiday, but like mine says, do you have questions about your neighborhood home values? Free information on recent sales, improvements, days on markets, call me for no obligation. Color on one side, black and white on the other side. Smaller postcards, so it's less postage. We can also do some of our small stuff in bulk mails, but I don't think that's set up the same way across the country. But if you're talking about farming, I think this has been a good idea. And I try to just farm, and this may sound bad, but I try to just farm certain sections. Like in the subdevelopment I farm, there's a couple of streets that have a lot of settlement issues, and I kind of don't want to go after those houses because they're kind of hard to sell. So you're able to, I guess, kind of discriminate against, housing, not people, but, the housing condition, so to speak. So if you're talking about databases, I want to just kind of throw that in. I thought that was kind of
I like that. And how many sales did you track in 2019 from that?
In 2019, this was my first year with High Garden. I think I had 8 sales, maybe about 2.5 million or so.
Okay.
I didn't do this last year though, and I need to get on track with my High Garden logo and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still going to keep my same branding, but switch my managing broker, information. But when I have done this, I have seen results, and there is something about, it's like, who are you thinking about? Who are you thinking about? And it's like, well, there's this postcard that's probably in someone's junk mail pile or something because they're getting it so often from you. But there is kind of a paper waste thing there too. So you have to kind of go with that also.
Well, hopefully they're recycling, right?
Yeah, hopefully. So, so that was me.
Carol asked you, how often do you mail the 8x8 and the 12x12? Is it weekly?
Well, I do the small postcards. I think it's more like 3.5 by 4. When the marketing classes that I've taken, I'll say, to do color on one side, you don't need to do color on both sides, but to pop for color on one side, because that gets their attention. And you want to keep everything the same. So it's, I don't really do holiday cards or, holiday mailing, because I usually don't have it together enough to get it together, to get it printed, to get it out in time. But I bought like 500 of these from Vistaprint like 4 or 5 years ago, and I've gone through most of them. Then I switched to High Garden, and I haven't used them, haven't changed them. But it was very effective. I was surprised at how effective it was. And when I've talked to other people that can, stick with it and do it, even though it's monotonous, and sometimes, like I said, you're handing out these mailings quite often, again, for like 8 weeks or 12 weeks, people do start calling you. I mean, I was pretty surprised at it. I think it's probably one of the more effective ways of blind mailing people you really don't know, farming people that aren't your warm contacts.
So you're mailing the same postcard once a week for 8 weeks or once a week for 12 weeks?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Or, they say like 10 times in 12 weeks or something. I mean, you need to do it every 7 to 10 days.
Every 7 to 10 days?
Yeah. And again, if it's going to be the same thing, that's better. Or sometimes people have like 2 or 3 that they use, but it's always a rotating, 2 or 3, so that you can get that kind of branding going and that familiarity, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. That's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, I've always heard that same thing about postcards. If you're going to do it, I get this question a lot. If you're going to do it, you have to have a plan in place to be consistent for a long length of time. You can't just mail one. You have to keep mailing to make it work.
And I think when you're first starting, if it's just once every month, if it's somebody you don't know, I think it gets lost a little too much. This is kind of like forcing it into their memory, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when they start to become aware, it's the
Right.
same thing. You start to gain awareness of it.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have anything to share before we wrap up?
I could just add one thing about the postcards. I've been doing the same actually that Bobby was just mentioning for like 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
And it does work, and it does work when you send the same thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
I use Express Copy. They mail like the same day, which is really nice. So that the stuff can be really current when you send it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the cost. I don't know. I've worked with Vista. I haven't used them for that purpose, but I'm sure it's the same. But I agree. If it looks the same, clients I get from that, they always say that they have been saving my cards all these years.
Really?
Yeah. So they save them. They don't throw them away. They just keep them.
Mm-hmm.
Because something that helps in the back, if you put in neighborhood statistics, they like to track that. So how many homes sold in the past 12 months, year to date, what's active, pending, solding, that kind of information is useful to them, so that they keep it. So it needs to have something that they can use.
Yeah. We have a question for you. Does Express Copy do EDDM? I'm not sure what that stands for. You might.
Oh, that's when they, yes, they do. Like they bulk mail it. Is that what that is?
Carol, is that what you mean, bulk mailing?
Yeah, they do, because they'll mail them out for me, and that way I don't have to mess with them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like everyday direct mail.
Okay.
Is what that is, and that's where you buy a zip or you buy a route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Is
have
that
my
what
own
that is?
mailing list that I upload, but I think because it's the same zip code, they do that automatically.
Okay, so it's the same zip code, not necessarily the route.
Yes, it's
The mailing route.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same neighborhood, so it
Okay.
all goes to the same. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Mona.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's nice to have a couple different companies.
Yeah, how much does it work out for you, Bobby, with Vista? Like
I just get
per
yeah, I
card?
just get the postcards from Vista, and then I have a marketing company that prepares the labels for me, and I would either have them do it or I'd have my son do it for extra money. But Vista Print just does the postcards for me and not the mailings.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you might try Express Copy, because it's just, I used to do the labels and all of that. It's made life so much easier, because
I know. I'm thinking that's part of the thing why I don't stay on top of it. It's because I hear you.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. It definitely is. And I just have my design that I've perfected over the years, and I keep updating. And then all I have to do is upload my revised list, which I revise my spreadsheet, my mailing spreadsheet too. So I just upload those, and shoom, it's gone. Within 2 days, I receive one at my own home, so that I know when everybody received it. Yeah, and I think it works out to I do about 400, and usually end up paying about something like $350. Sorry about that. About $350, something like that. And they mail you little coupons for like 20-30% off, so you can put those promotion codes and save some money. I think it's a good value.
Is that the printer that High Garden and Easy Street's kind of connected with? Is that
No,
one?
It's not. I think
Okay.
it's something similar that we're using.
Okay, but it's not Express Docs. Okay, I will look into that.
Is it possible to see a picture, or if I email you after to see what you've done? I mean, I'm in a different market. Would that be all right, just to get an idea?
Yeah, sure. I don't have a card with me to show you. I'm at the office, so I don't have one with me, but I can email it to you.
Okay, I'll
That'd be
email
great.
you.
Mona, if you want to email it to me, I'll send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's just,
Thank you so
it's
much.
a just sold card, basically. The format is just, so you can do your own design. And so whatever that is, and you know, you got to do you know what I mean? Do your own style, do your own market, whatever. But every time you get a new listing, every time you have it just sold, I honestly, I have not done the best that I could on this because I've not been doing it every month or every couple months at least. That you should do it at least every other month, in my experience. But yeah, so just whatever design you have, it doesn't really matter. All they want to see is sold. Those
I like the idea
4
of
letters.
too. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Statistics.
Just listed or just sold. They just need to see that you're doing work in the neighborhood and you're also sharing data from the neighborhood, and that will give them, you become, and oh, this actually works fantastic if you live in the neighborhood. So I strongly recommend you farm your own neighborhood because you can say you're a resident realtor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of credibility there. And
Would
yeah,
you
I've
say
done
the same, Mona, for like the school district, all of that? Like, I mean, if you're in that same school district and you're farming in that area, like to mention those things in there?
how do I turn up the volume on this?
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you. It's just the volume is low and I haven't been able to figure out. I think, did you say that can you do the same thing to the same school district? Is that what you were asking?
Right. So, I mean, say your community's small and that's not going to, you're not going to see a lot of benefit from that. If you want to broaden it, relate to whoever you're sending it to somehow, whether it's the same city, same school district, same whatever, to show that you also believe in that product.
Absolutely. Yeah, like a small town would be great. You don't have to mail the whole town. You could just pick what you can afford. And I really would stick to like $350 at the most. And mine has grown a little bit, and sometimes I kind of exclude some streets that I really don't even want listings on. Like somebody had mentioned,
yeah,
if you don't like, I have like a couple streets that are just not the best. I exclude those, that way I can focus on. And then sometimes if I want to send to everybody, I even kind of edit out the ones that have recently bought, because they're more likely aren't going to list anytime soon. So the ones within the last 2 years you can exclude. But it's good for people to start getting your pieces right when they move in, so that you immediately get concreted as the go-to realtor from the get-go. And then you can do open house cards. This is how I started my whole career, is just sending out postcards and doing open houses and people seeing my signs in the street and directional signs on the weekends. Of course, nowadays you don't really do open houses enough to get enough, because my listings sell so fast I don't get to do open houses very often.
Yeah.
That's the downside. But yeah, I have not had much success with recipe cards or
cold schedule.
Yeah, I don't do those. Notepads are not bad if you want to send something mid-year and you just and then at the end of the year I send out calendars that are greeting card calendars. So that ends up on their refrigerator and they never get rid of those.
So I have a question. Oh, sorry. So how many of you guys, when ordering your marketing, put your pictures on it? How important is a picture, do you think?
Very, I think.
On everything? You put a picture on everything? I have it on my business card, but I don't put it on my mailings.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Because the whole point to the marketing is for people to get to know you and feel comfortable approaching you. And it's hard to do that when you don't have a face with the name.
Yeah.
I would have them on your signs if you can, have them on your open house signs if you can, have them on everything, business cards, your email signature, everywhere you can. I think Jonathan had something, some insights on social media too.
I have two things. First off, can everybody hear me?
I can hear
Yes.
Sorry, I have sharing the screen right now. I had two thoughts. One, which just popped up when you're talking about the mailings, I don't agree that, or I agree that putting them out there with recipes on them, those get tossed away all the time because at the end of the day, you're asking that person to do work. The mailings that I've had success with are the ones where I'm simply giving them information that is seasonal and on a timeline that is short, especially here in the Indianapolis market. If I'm sending them out to my article clients, I'll put out there in the springtime, I'll put every local farmer's market, the hours that they're there and the addresses on them, what the season is. I do the same thing in Fishers or Noblesville, all the events at Connor's Square. So it's a reason for them to keep it on their calendar, but it's also something that has a timeline on it, 30, 60, 90 days, but not asking them to do work, i.e. make a recipe and whatnot. So it's providing something more than just, hey, I do real estate. So it's not just, hey, do work. It's information. So I've had more luck with those. I know those stick around longer. I've been told that. But when it comes to just in general on social media, one thing that I figured out over the last year or so is, and it wasn't really touched on here, if it was, I missed it, I apologize. But if you're just putting on your social media stuff, real estate, people are going to tune out. They know what you do. You know what we do. And they know what, they all know 20 of us, to be honest. So if your social media is just about real estate, you're going to quickly get most people to tune out. So I try to do about a 30 to 70% at the most ratio of personal stuff to real estate. I try to keep it more close to 40 to 60% as a ratio. But whatever your niche is, whatever your gimmick is, give them another reason to follow you, and then throw out real estate every third or fourth post. You get more engagement on those posts. You'll get a higher return rate of clicks, engagements, comments, whatever else is, because it's not shoved on their face. I have several Instagram pages, and ironically, one that gets the most likes and the most information on it about real estate is when my cat mentions
what?
Is when my cat mentions where her human is today.
That's funny.
But the rest of the time, she just posts up her daily cat catalog. But those are the ones that get the most engagement. People say, "Hey, tell me where your human is today. I want to go by and see him." On my personal page, nothing ever happens from it. I also do a lot of my social media stuff. Where my father's missus over here will be in the office. What my niche is that's I'm an ex-chef, so I'm trying to put together a video series of cooking with your realtor. Hey, here's some simple, easy recipes. Blah blah blah. I did them with video down to a 3-minute thing, and boom, boom, boom. But gives them a reason to tune into me every month or every week, or whatever I do. And then at the end of it, just throw on there, "Oh yeah, guys, ways, still do real estate." But if you're just shoving real estate on their face all the time on any social media platform, they will tune out.
Well, what I like about that is that you're blending them. So cooking with your realtor, you're still blending cooking and real estate. But then also when you're yourself on social media, you're going to attract people that are like you. There's going to be some people that don't like what they see and they're not going to work with you, but that's awesome that you're no longer going to work with someone who you don't connect with. You're going to attract people who are like you, who want to work with you. And so it makes the process so much easier.
I agree. And I think it's very sad that my cat has more followers than I do.
All right. My 2-year-old has more followers than me too. So I'm with you. Thanks, Jonathan. Anybody else? This has been really, really good. I think we should do this type of platform more often where we're sharing what we've done and even, like sharing the exact examples, like Mona sending the postcard and stuff like that, and sharing what companies who are doing a good job for us. That way we can grow together. So thank you all so much for contributing and being on the call. And I love seeing your faces on video too. We got to do that more often. All right. Well, have a great weekend. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.